We have a very special program today. This is with Alka, Pam, and Anupama. So these are our three recent PGMPs, and I have invited them, and they gracefully accepted my request. They're going to talk something special about their PGMP journey. You're going to learn what they did and how they did, and what inspired them to do PGMP. And ultimately, at the end of the day, they will share some tips and something useful for you. So, without any further delay, I'd like to introduce our agenda. So today we're going to talk about, Anupama will talk about her story, then Pam will take over, and then Alka will talk about her exciting journey of PGMP and how she managed to get three certificates in one go. And we'll listen their success stories, their tips and hints, and what you have to do to pass PGMP in your first attempt. And if the time permit, and I'm sure we have, I will talk about a little bit about how to write application and how to check your exam readiness. Then we'll have a questions answer session. So the questions actually you can start typing whenever, as and when you feel ready, and I will check them, keep checking them, and we'll cover these questions at the end of the session. All right. So with no further delay, I will let Anu talk about. Anu, please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Anupama. People do call me Anu. I am in the greater New York area, specifically New Jersey. I work as a senior project manager as an independent consultant. I've worked with IBM, with Horizon, Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, MetLife, and also with TIAA. I do have my PMP since 2007, and I just got my PGMP in April of 2018. What you see here is basically the screen from PMI. I did get on target overall. I got above target for 2 out of the 5 domains, so I'm pretty happy about that. I know there are people who have got above target for more than that, but I'm happy with my performance. Next slide, please. So this is my journey with Dharam, Alka, and Pam. I've tried to put some pictures in so that it speaks more. I know pictures speak more than words. So Dharam did hand over the baton to us, and it was our responsibility to take it and work with it throughout the week. So I used the PDCA approach where you plan, do, check, and act. Not specifically in that order, but I just wanted to make sure that there was some approach that was taken. So chose a mentor, made sure that we attended the study group regularly. The goal being in between getting PGMP certification. We reviewed the materials on a weekly basis, evaluated the results. We had any questions, discussed with the peers, took mock exam, revised the weak areas, went back to attending the sessions, and just that cycle continues. The picture towards the left, as you see, is we work together as a team. That's the cycling going on, and then we did come across some hurdles along the way. That's just in the waters. You see, there are waves which sometimes is very difficult to cross, but we did it. And then our eyes were on the goal, and that's what I'm trying to show in that picture at the top. Next slide, please.
Yeah, so I mean, this is what I like about this group. I have so many groups going on, but they continued the journey. So we finished our fast track mentoring program, and then I suggested let's continue. Alka, you three of you, one of you lead. And what happened? They actually start meeting every week, or rather, you were meeting every day or weekly basis.
No, we met every week. Yep.
Every week. So that continued your learning pattern, and finally you did almost same time. That was a good thing.
That's true.
And yeah, I was able to celebrate Women's Week on just before the Mother's Day. Good. All right.
All right. So this is specifically, I wanted to put some timelines together so you have an idea of what it took for me. It would be different for different folks, so it doesn't mean it has to follow the same timeline. started off in January, joined Dharam's Fast Track Mentoring Program, which was for 6 weeks. Also started on working on the PgMP application, and Dharam kept pushing us to get it done and completed, and it did take a couple of weeks for me to get there. We reviewed it, gave the approval, and I was able to submit it by end of Jan. I got the approval from PMI. The first set of acceptance was just to say that, hey, go ahead and do the payment. They have done the preliminary validation of the application, so I had to pay another $800 for that. Panel review started after I paid that. So Dharam session ended on 11th Feb. As Dharam mentioned, we did continue our sessions. So we had follow-up session every week. We met and made sure that we interacted and encouraged each other and held each other accountable for that week. So that was a really good thing and the key to our success, I would say. We also reviewed some weak areas that we had on the call, and I personally used some free YouTube videos to understand some of the PMBOK and PgMP concepts during the week. Towards the end, met with Dharam one-on-one just to make sure that I was ready for my exam. I did schedule my exam for 26th April. That's my dad's birthday, and it was a very special day for me because I just lost my dad last year. So I really wanted to kind of, this was a tribute from me to him on his birthday a year after he died. So Pam or Alka, you want to add anything here?
Absolutely, thank you, Anu. I think you've covered it all. Pretty much my journey is very similar to yours, and so is Alka's, and I'll let her speak for herself. But we enjoyed doing this together. It didn't feel like a chore. It felt so much easier just because we were encouraging each other. And of course, not to forget Dharam, because he's the one who kicked this off. And right from get-go, he is the one who kept, pushing us. For me, the only difference in this journey was I started thinking about it in December, and I approached, I don't remember if it was I approached Dharam or he approached me, one of the two, got together, started talking through this, and he said this was possible. The exam was changing in June, so he said, let's put a rush on it, you can make it. And I had my PMP and my ACP, so that gave me a little confidence that I could do it. It was challenging with work. I can tell you, with a full-time job, it wasn't easy. But thanks to a lovely mentor and these two lovely ladies that you're talking to right now, it just got to be an awesome journey.
Yeah, to add on Pam, it was like not possible if it was not together, and definitely Dharam also pushed me for PgMP. Otherwise, I was not even planning to do that. My focus was somewhere else. So he said, no, do it. And finally, I agreed in the Christmas break along with my other certifications, which I had planned already. I took a little bit more time in preparing the application because I sent it across to my functional manager, sent it across to my PMs, and that I'm putting their name, are they fine? And once they agreed, I got a mail from India from one of the last PM, and I just submitted in the night, and by mistake, I put in the same project name twice. So it was after waiting for 2 weeks, it said that you have put in the same data points again. So I corrected it and put it again. So it again took me 2 weeks, but the panel review took only 1 day. Within 24 hours, I got it. It got approved. So that was good. The key part of our 3 learning together was like, if I'm not able to study anything any week, but rest of the 2 people have studied. So they were revising what all they have studied, what all they have learned, and the key points or key things which they have found differently, which we wouldn't have thought that we should be focusing on those. Another key point was some of the area, every question we were trying to link with the real-time scenario. And SOW discussions, and then we were, okay, how we do in a real-time scenario? That was our favorite one. Then we went back, this is what we generally do, but this is what it is written in SPN. So how is it different? Oh, this method or this step we are missing somewhere, or we have not analyzed that we should be doing this also. So everything, whatever we were reading, we were relating it with our day-to-day, what we are doing or practicing in program management. That really helped us from all 3 experience. If I have not experienced anything and Anu and Pam has experienced, so they were sharing their experiences. So every question we were able to relate some of the other experiences, and that was something that helped us in coming up from the PGMP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. This is what I can say working together is a key. Helping each other. While most of the time we worry about our own journey, want to get my own PGMP and want to win. It's not about winning yourself. It's winning together. That's the thing I like in this group. You work together and to push each other, and you made together. Yeah. And another point I like to bring here, like you mentioned your application took a long time, but panel we completed in 24 hours, which is and actually that is possible. It's happening with many application. Only problem is this is very unpredictable process. If somebody asks me how long it will take, the panel review will take, I cannot give them a definitive time. I normally tell them 8 hours to 8 weeks. It is like that when we talk about standard deviation, it's like that. The generally you can think of 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, but it is possible 8 hours to 8 weeks. I've seen 8 weeks with a couple of people. It's not that nothing wrong with the application. What happened, these applications are reviewed by volunteers. You can be one of the volunteers, and you have busy schedule, you have home and work life, everything. So on top of that, PMI put your application to them. Sometime I don't know, they're too busy, or they don't see that, or whatever it is. So after 4 weeks, because 4 weeks is the time frame they have given in the handbook, you should call them and to the help desk, and they sometimes have to escalate it to the higher level, or to the person, so that they can focus soon. And if you are working on application before 25th of June, I actually contacted PMI to find out if they can do fast track some of the application. They have said no. But what I'm suggesting, even if you start getting closer to the date of uh, exam change, contact PMI, care, try to request them to, in case they can escalate it. But stay calm. Things do happen in PMI, so it will be fine. All right, great.
All right, next slide.
Slide for you.
Okay, so this is just showing what materials were used. Dharam did provide some documents and videos. So there was a complete reference guide with slides on it that was printed, and a book was shipped to us. Pre-recorded mentoring sessions were there, which we could listen to prior to our mentoring calls, and then even after. We had the PgMP Pathfinder, which was a template which we had to fill in, and then the Challenger question bank, but there were 175 questions. So we did cover about 90 questions from each domain during our calls and discussed as a group, which was very helpful because it gave us an idea of what approach is taken by others, how the elimination technique is used, and that was really very beneficial. Additional PgMP question banks we did use Gingers and Genes. To me, Gingers was more to identify weak areas that needed improvement. Genes helped me to gain confidence. So that's the way I had taken that. Pam or Alka, you want to add anything here?
Alka, did you find any question in your exam from my question bank or similar question?
Mine was more on the I was running from the Ginger's questions because it used to drain me a lot, and it said correctly, more you run from any scenario that will come in front of you. And my PgMP was totally Ginger based style. Only one question from PMP, and that was no calculations on EV. Everything was given, and you have to give the scenarios. But rest, if you ask me, everything was of Ginger style, very big questions. But the real thing was mark the questions, what is there and what is relevant. Read the last line so that you know what they are asking, because there are many things in the question which is not even required to know to answer the question. Just to make it lengthy, to make it to scare you, they just PMI put in many data points, which is not required to answer the question. So my questions were more on the Ginger style rather than any other style, and that was scary for me initially because of the lengthy style, and that is what I faced during the exam.
Yeah, So the good thing is that, I mean, it's not good or bad, but another thing is PMI don't give same exam or similar exam to everyone. So since Alka was more than prepared, that's why she was given heavy questions.
The most
So
difficult.
I think so, yeah.
this is the
I
way
had to get points of
test of
it.
God. I call this test of God because God tests you because you if you are not prepared, you get easier question. If you are more prepared, you get more.
Oh, wow.
Not,
Yeah.
so it's a random, it's nothing to do with who is prepared, who's not. So you can get exam with a lot of lengthy questions, and some people get the small questions as well. I think Alka and Pam had a better experience in exam in terms of question size and the complexity. So it is different to different people, and of course, it's nothing to do with your personality. You're coming from, whether you're coming from America or US or Australia or Saudi. Nothing to do with that. It's all pure your luck, and depends on the PMI mood on that day. Not really.
All right.
And
We can
Alka,
move
you
on
want
to next.
to the exam?
Yeah, I just wanted to say the key is to be adequately prepared. So come what may, whatever the exam, if you're really well prepared, you're going to be able to answer. And in my mind, it's not about memorizing, it's about basically understanding the materials. Because you can try and memorize some of the answers, some of the materials, but the questions, the way they're presented, the language would be different there. So if you have an understanding, you'll be able to figure out the answer. So the basic understanding has to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And when you're
Next.
using mock exams, because every author has written the question differently, so I have a suggestion how to read these Ginger's exam and Jean's exam and my exam. And, I think Alka, you mentioned that Ginger's exams are very complex, and I generally and my expectation is around 60-65%. And to be very frank, uh, somebody got a noise happening.
Could be my AC.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah, Ginger's exam because it will be harder exam. So my expectation of 60-65%. But in the first attempt, when you do first attempt of Ginger's exam, generally, and again, this is my observation, somewhere between 35 to 50%. It's a common trend, and you should not be discouraged because of this score. Rather, you should take, okay, this is your shock treatment. I call this shock treatment because it's good to take shock treatment now rather than in exam. Okay, we
That's
call fail now rather than later. So whatever, when you feel that you're ready for the exam, take the first exam you should do, Ginger's first exam. No matter how much you score, that's fine. But the important thing is when you look at the explanation and read SPM and ECO in detail, that's where your learning happening. Because the next time when you read SPM, your reading will be a little different. Okay, and now after that reading you will do exam, Ginger's another exam or Jeans and my exam, you will have very good score. Okay,
Yeah. Can move on to
so
next slide.
yeah, we do have a couple of questions coming, let me bring them. So Vinod is asking how much were you scoring in your mock exams.
uh,
Initially, for Ginger's exam, I think I scored 40 or 45%. After a couple of weeks, I tried again. I still scored about 55 or so. So I didn't score very well. And then by then I was getting very disappointed. So I switched to Jeans. And Jeans I was scoring in 65, 70. And
Yeah.
Dharam also was around 65, 70.
Good. You are not in my range, but range of readiness, but you still made it and did very well. Good.
Yeah.
And Pam?
I think I was doing a little better. I was, for Ginger, I was scoring about 60%. And then for yours, but it didn't count because we had done all your questions pretty much with you, and we were doing them again. So they were in the short-term memory, so I was scoring better. But I didn't count that as readiness because I'm like, I remember these questions, and they're not going to be, repeated verbatim. They're going to be different, it's going to be different language. So I better
Yeah.
understand the materials. What I did with Ginger, I want to just share this with everyone. With Ginger, the first time I scored, I was very disappointed. What I did was, instead of like trying to do like the whole test, I started doing one question at a time, going back to the answer, figuring out. I know it was very time consuming and it took longer, but that really helped me understand what her way of thinking was and why the answer was correct. So I pretty much did that for both her tests.
Yeah. Again, you didn't follow strictly my requirement. What about you?
Okay, Dharam, because the same thing as Pam, we have done in the class. So I was seeing the question itself and answers. I was okay. This is not the right thing to judge myself. So I was doing it, but I know
Yeah.
I did pretty much everything correct in the first go. Around 3 or 4 questions wrong, rest everything. But it was not a right thing to judge. Jean, I was scoring 80-85%, and Ginger, till 40 questions, everything is right. After 40 questions, I'm so drained out, I'm not able to even read the full question. I said, okay, let me try and push myself for 5. All 5 were wrong. And then I took a break, and then I again went back. Again, it was, so I know that 40 and 50 was my limit. And the same thing I applied in my exam, seeing the long question. After every 50 questions, I was just breathing, closing my eyes for 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 10 minutes, I don't even know, and then coming back so that I can concentrate again, because I knew my weakness. I'll not be able to concentrate and start missing the important points from the question to even get what is the right answer, because I had observed that in Ginger. So
Yeah.
that was my key of success, because I noticed that, and I know my concentration level or focus level. So I applied that in the exam and it helped me.
Yeah. Perfect. Great. Thank you. I do have another question, but I will come to that later on.
Okay.
Yeah. Just.
Yeah, this is just some additional material that we were able to download from PMI. If you're a PMI member, you have free access to it. I just wanted to list it down. The eco, as we mentioned, is very important. SPM is important. We can download the soft copy of that. Code of Ethics should be read. PMI Lexicon of Project, I also felt that was really good to go over, because it gives you some definitions to just refresh your memory. There were some books that I bought from Amazon. This is just to give an idea how much it cost. I also did buy the PMBOK, but looking back, I would say I did not have to buy the PMBOK. I think I found most of the material on YouTube, which is what I used. I did not really read through the PMBOK for this exam.
Yeah. So one thing I like to make aware everybody, like, while you see the books, these are based on 3rd edition. Now the SPM has changed, Standard for Programming has changed to 4th edition. Whenever you buy any book, just be careful whether this book is aligned with 4th edition or not. Because I do notice people do buy, I think some guy who wrote a PgMP book long time back with 1st edition, and that's the only book available on the bookstores. People go and buy it, and they realize it's not at all, not even 2nd edition, like based on 1st edition. Just be careful whenever you buy. Just check with the author or maybe the publisher or maybe the notes whether the book is based on 4th edition or not. Otherwise, that will be wasted anyway. So don't buy too much. Or one more thing, don't spend too much money in buying all kind of different books. Just stick to only few books, because that should be good enough for you to pass. Otherwise, only thing will happen, you will confuse in exam, because you do not know whether it's coming from SPM4 or it's coming from author XYZ. Okay. Okay. Anything else you'd like to add? I think it's covered here. Let me take you to next slide. Lesson learned.
Yeah, this is the last slide for me. So I do want to emphasize there is no shortcut. Have to study for this exam. As Pam was saying, you have to understand the concepts. I did not memorize much, but I think understanding the concept was very important. I used mnemonics, as you can see here. I've used study here as one of the mnemonics. Surround yourself with people who love you and wishes the best for you. It was great to have 2 ladies with me, studying with me, and my family supporting me. Take a break in between, spend quality time. I got drained out after a month and a half of studying. I took a break and went and visited family. Understand your limitations and aim high. So to me, I had to use pen and paper and highlighters on my book to be able to grasp some of this so that I can go back and revisit some of the key points. So I did not use computer as much. I tried to do everything on paper. It took time, but it was worth it. Do everything you can to keep marching forward. There were times when I just didn't have the patience to sit with the book. So I used YouTube videos while cooking. I watched that, and that sort of helped me catch up with some of the concepts, especially on PMP. And then you are smarter than you think you are, because many times you look around and you think, especially on the WhatsApp group and the Telegram, there are questions that are posed. Sometimes you don't know the answers and seems like everybody else does, but that's okay. You will get there. So don't give up and be an inspiration to others. That's all from me.
Yeah. Thank you. And I think we have a few more slides from, this is an introduction of Pam and the lovely lady. You want to say something about yourself, Pam?
Well, it's all here, and I mean, I'm a program manager, so I basically practice this every day, so it got a little easier. But not to say that to discourage people who do something else outside of program management. I'm sure that the journey is about getting there, and this will definitely help you, because I mean, this really clarifies your concepts and gives you the foundation you need. So keep plugging, guys. This is just awesome. This will elevate your status. For me, I start out with always with my SMART goals, and that's what this slide is about. Basically, I have to be very specific about what I want, and it was the certification. For me, it has to be meaningful. I have to know why I'm doing it. For me, not because everybody else is doing it. It's not, the herd mentality, because everybody's getting a PgMP, I need to get one. It's basically researching the credential. I wanted to see if it was achievable, what's the market value, how will it add to my current profile. I wanted to see if it would also promote my goal of, lifelong learning and growing. Last but not the least, I approached it as a project. So I did some initial planning, got Dharam as a mentor, and that was very important in my journey, and of course formed a study group, and that was critical in keeping me motivated and keeping me on my goal. And I knew I could get this because of my past history, with certifications. My goal obviously was to get it by 2018, but thanks to Dharam and him pushing us in the beginning of the year, we can proudly say we're already certified.
Great, lovely. And you have something more here.
And we all have done our lessons learned, and they're all sitting on our profiles in LinkedIn. So y'all can, when you have some leisure time, go and take a look in detail. But the key lesson for me was work collaboratively with folks that have the same goal as you. Like we've all been saying, these ladies really motivated me. It really helped me keep on track. And again, like Anu was saying, I'm just reiterating, you may not be where some of the others are. Don't feel disappointed. Just keep plugging. You'll get there. If you give up, then you've already lost the battle. So don't give up. Just, this is definitely achievable. So
Great.
Good luck with everything.
Perfect. And lovely Alka.
Yeah. Okay. So by now, at present, I'm not working as a program manager, but that was my role in the past. Right now, I'm working as an agile practice lead in TD. So that's all. In this slide, maybe we can go to the next slide. Okay, since I'm working as an agile, so let me share my journey. In Christmas break, as I mentioned, Dharam convinced me, okay, try this or plan for this, also certification in this year. And I also felt, okay, this is good because I've done PMP, I've done ACP, so let me try this. So the first I created the backlog, what needs to be done, have a mentor. So Dharam was already there. And thanks to Dharam, I planned for it. and connect with other PgMP participants. Again, Dharam helped me in that one, connecting with Pamela, Anu, Kotesh, and he also added us in the WhatsApp group. Now it's a Telegram, so that also helps with the discussions, because discussions matter a lot. Why this answer is not correct, why that is correct, because for the same question, if you have different options and different options available, the answer may be different, because which is the best answer out of that. And similarly, if you have the same options available and little bit tweak in the question, the answer may differ. So, but the discussions take you through why this is not an answer, why that is answer. And when we were studying as a group, me, Pam, and Anu, one thing we realized, that whichever question we were solving, we were trying to relate it with our day-to-day experience. And that helped us, because it was not related to that question, but that helped us to even understand the concept better, because when we were sharing our experience details, it helped us more better and better and better. So ensure you have a study group, you are connected with the PgMP participation, plan a high-level roadmap so you know what you are targeting towards, submit your application in time, book PgMP. So come up what all tasks you need to do. Again, we have already mentioned the Ginger and the Gene books, and go through other PgMP lessons learned so that you don't repeat the same mistakes again. That's key. You don't want to learn from your mistakes, but whatever people have shared, let's learn from them. Yeah. On a daily basis, plan some time for your study so that you don't have to rush in the end. Understand what is required, participate in WhatsApp and Telegram group so that you discuss with your peer groups on the questions and what they are asking, try to clarify their doubts so that you know that, okay, you are on the track or you are missing something. While practicing the questions, ensure you go through the logic, what is provided in the book, or so that you're not missing any point, because even if you have answered correctly, ensure you go through the logic, because that really helps you whether your thought process was aligned or you got the answer not because of the right logic but a wrong logic, because sometimes that may also happen. Again, regular discussions with Dharam, Anu, Pam, Kotesh, and Sunil will definitely help us there. Reprioritize if you find anything, this is your weak area when you are discussing with them and you were not able to understand or you were not able to thought through. Then generally what me, Pam, and Anu used to plan, okay, this is what I'm not feeling comfortable. We used to tell each other. In place of hiding, we used to share, okay, this is my weak area, how we can we focus on that in the next discussion. So we used to focus on our weak areas wherever we were not feeling comfortable or wherever we required more discussion. Like SOW was one of the scenario. Another scenario which I bumped with Pam and Anu was the deliverables or output from each area. Let's discuss on that and focus why this is required, why, so that we logically understand in place of memorizing what output is produced in each phase or each domain. So we started discussing from a logic perspective rather than memorizing. That really helped us to even think more or answer the questions more logically rather than, oh, SPM, it was written like that, so it is like that. So, but we were relating everything with our day-to-day scenarios. That was a little bit different approach, I think, which really helped at least me to come through the PgMP, even if I felt it was more on a tougher side. Again, identify your gaps and plan your group discussions based on that. So that's again what I have mentioned. And ensure you take 1 or 2 breaks. Don't, because it's like you're starting a car. Every question you are switching from one area to another. So if you start your car again and off, on, off, and you do 170 times, you'll find your car gets heated up. So same thing happens with your brain. So you're switching your domain, your topic again and again. So if you don't take a break, definitely your focus is getting to be reduced. You will get drained out, and then, because I experienced this with Ginger, and that's what so I ensured that I take a break if required more than once. I took twice a break in the exam.
So just a reminder that yes, break break is you're still using your time. Alka took 2 breaks, but at least you should plan for one break. I mean, I'm not recommending 2 breaks because 2 breaks can be too much for some people. But definitely around 2 hours, when you're done 2 hours and think, okay, what is your journey now? Because that gives you a chance to review what you have done so far, and you will be surprised that sometimes you can re-strategize yourself. So if you're going slow, you can go faster. And my break actually, I don't know how many people know my story. I was in 2 hours, I was able to complete only 39 questions. That was a long time back, by the way. And I took a break and I was very nervous. I know if I just even double it, I'm not going to pass. So I have to re-strategize everything. And that break actually helped me to break my pattern. And I was able to complete my exam in still 20 minutes to go. And I have big smile with me because I was able to pass in my first attempt. So break always help. And don't worry about, yes, you want to go out and you have to, 2 minutes, 3 minutes will be gone, security check. It is there, but it helps you to recover. So go out, go to toilet and wash your face, do some stretching. If you are in my yoga class, I can teach you some little more as well. Stand on your head or hands or whatever. But take a break.
Yeah, just
Luckily,
to add on here, so one break I took and went out. The second break, I closed my eyes, did a deep breath because I was not able to focus further. But I took 2 minutes or 5 minutes. I don't even realize how much, but I relaxed for some time and then started working on. I didn't go out for the second break, but the first break I did went for the washroom break and everything.
yeah. And another thing is the Telegram group, which Alka has mentioned. That's a free to all. So if you would like to join, just send me a message, download the Telegram Messenger, and send me a message. I will add you in the group. So it's very useful tool. Everybody in the group, they are enjoying. Some people are participating, some people are not participating, but still, even if you are not participating, you learn from that discussion. So I do encourage people to be involved in the questions and raise questions and discussion that actually keep you connected with the group, and very, very useful. So if you are not in the group, please let me know. I will add you to the group. All right.
Yeah,
Anything else you like to add,
two,
Alka?
yeah, yeah. 2 points I want to add here. You get
Yeah.
initially 15 minutes. That tip I got from Anu, and I want to pass on to everybody. You get initial 15 minutes where they tell what to use on the tricks and everything, how to mark for the review questions, how to highlight, how to strike wrong answers. And that was a boon tip from Anu to me before the exam, because when I was reading the last line, what they are looking for, I was marking what all are the important points in the question. Similarly, if I'm striking it down, okay, these are the two not options, wrong options. I'm only concentrating on the other two options. Other two options are not even coming in my eyes because it's already thought through. Otherwise, if you don't strike through, you will keep looking onto, okay, which I strike through because of the nervousness. So these are the things. Another thing which PMI, if I don't know, read through that, for me it was available to mark for the review questions. So if you mark for the review questions, in the end I marked 6 for 7 review questions. I didn't change any of the option because whatever, but don't keep marking every review question. Mark which you really have to mark, and think you may not be able to come back again to this question. So mark whichever you feel is the right answer in the first go. And this is the tip again Anu and Pam and I used in the exam.
Just on this point, with highlighting and strike through, this option may not be available to everyone, not in every country. It depends on the Prometric Center as well. So I hope this is available to everyone. Just before you start your exam, do this tutorial. So that will tell you whether you have this feature or not and how to use it. Very, very useful feature. Just hope for that. I think US and Canada are definitely there, but some countries they're still rolling out or whatever. I don't understand. I don't know that. But they're very useful features.
Yes.
Okay. I do have one question from our friend Vinod. How did you prepare in the last week before exam? And this is for all of you. Just 1 minute each.
I personally did not study much in the last week. I just reviewed. That's why I was highlighting in my SCM. I went through the highlights, just read through it, not trying to memorize. A day before the exam, I completely shut down. I didn't even check Telegram or WhatsApp because I did not want to get any more nervous. So I knew that was the readiness that I was with, and I wanted to stay confident with the readiness that I had. So I just shut down before the exam. But the day of the exam morning, I did take a look at SPM one more time. I just wanted to make sure that those key points were still, it was familiar to me because I had blanked myself out. So I did take a look at the book for 1 hour before the exam, before I went to the exam center. And I went to the exam center early.
Perfect. Good.
Pam?
Pam?
Yeah, for me, the funny part was that I had to go to Birmingham for work just a week before. So I was forced to take 2 or 3 days of break, which actually helped because it refreshed my mind. Although I was very worried, I really didn't want to go because I wanted to be with my books. But I came back, and I think toward the end, I just looked at SPM and ACO, and I just looked at the stuff that I'd highlighted. And that's pretty much what I did. So I didn't do like heavy duty stuff, on the last week.
Yeah. Alka?
Okay, so I listened to Dharam here, and that really helped relaxing for the week before. I just went through the SPM once and Eco once, and I was lying down and memorizing. Okay, I was thinking, okay, this is the domain. So what are the steps we do? What are the output that? So I was thinking in my brain without reading anything or thing, just to, okay, if I'm missing anything. So that's what I did in the last 1 week. And one day before, I saw 101 series from Netflix, no studies, nothing, and I was just resting. And I did post some of when I was thinking on the scenarios and what needs to be done, I did post some of the things in Telegram, and couple of people, Anup, Vinod, couple of people responded to those, my last minute doubts, what all they are thinking, and that helped me again to, okay, this is what I was thinking, and other people are also in the same line, so I'm confident. And because I didn't want it to go back to SPM or ECO, but I wanted from the real scenarios what we have been working on. So last minute I went to the Telegram with few last minute doubts, and everybody supported me in there. Again, that's why I'm saying Telegram is a very good initiative. Please join, and please work with the rest of the aspirants to get your goal.
Great. And yes, it's a very important point to not to do any questions bank, not question bank, especially full question bank in the last week, because you should have done by this time a week before all the question bank, mock exam. You know your readiness, everything is there. Last week is for reviewing, revising the SPM and examination content outline and a PMBOK some concept. That's it. That's what you have to do. No question. I know a couple of people, they did mock exam a day before the exam, and exam went very bad. Had to recover them out of the darkness, and next day the person passed the exam. But that actually impacts your confidence when you're going for exam. So that's my request, not to do any mock exam. Yes, you can do bits and pieces, question here and there, but don't try to test yourself whether you're ready or not. You should test everything before, a week before, and then now this week is the last week is just for you to bring everything together and just focus on the studies. And we do prepare a workbook during the session, so you can revise that, and that will be a good tool for you. So thanks all, and I think that's what we have from you. And I also promise that I will give a little bit from my side, just in case somebody like to know how to write application. So this is my stats, statistics. I'm loving my stats, and thanks to all of you, 3 of you, and my numbers are growing very fast. I'm very proud to say that. So in 2018, last year was my highest number, 52, and in now, which is only halfway of May, I already have 32 PgMPs. So I'm really hoping to see it, number 32 will become 82 or 100 by 24th of June. That means we need to see at least 2 to 3 PgMP between now and 24th of June. So don't worry, I'm working on it, because I have to reach my number. So that means I am more dedicated, I'm more committed to you guys. So anyway, that's my personal, yeah, I love these numbers. So yeah, so little bit about the application. Application process is very, very important for PgMP, unlike PMP, which you can do within a half an hour or 1 hour. But this application do take some time. And guys, you can stay online, no problem, don't go away. And yeah, so application itself is very important, because this is where this will help you to find out whether you're ready to go to the exam or not. In application, you have to define your program description and the 5 questions. The program will be, then description of the program will be analyzed or judged by PMI during the initial review. So a program description should be good enough for them to decide. So one thing is important, you have to talk about your organization, what is the organization purpose, and why the program was started, and what was your role in the program, and a few more bits and pieces. But you have to show how your program was strategically aligned with your organization, because it's all about strategy alignment and the benefits. So you need to show the benefits for your program, and you need to show, overall outcome of the program. So it can take some time. Around 350 to 500 words should be good enough for this purpose. And if you have taken my mentoring, or you have taken my application report, I will review it, make sure these are ready to be approved by PMI. So regarding the 5 questions, these 5 questions will be reviewed by panel review. And just to clarify, panel review is not a place where people call you or interview you or somebody else. This is purely based on reviewing your 5 questions. And the way you present will help you to move to next level. So make sure you write your role as a program manager. Even if you are writing only one program, and you have written that you are a program manager, and if you mentioned four answers, you said program manager, program manager, and you didn't mention 5th one as a program manager, PMI will still send you an email saying you are not, you have to complete something, something is incomplete. And the problem with that email is they send hundreds, like a very big email. It's very difficult for you to analyze. So make sure you write your role as a program manager in all the 5 questions. Okay, and talk about your role as a program manager, not just what your program sponsor do and other people do. Your role, and you can use words like I, because of me, I created. Sounds rude if you're talking within your team, but here this is your application, so you focus about your role in that program. So feel free to use I, because of me, I was responsible for that, and so and so. Okay, and don't use textbooks. Now, people like to start writing. I did my benefit relation plan, and benefit relation plan involved this. These are the content. Hang on, these are not required. You have to talk about the process of getting the benefit relation plan, or in the new version, they're calling benefit management plan. How you created the benefit management plan, who were involved, what document did you review? Okay, so please avoid textbook definition, and provide at least one specific example where people can see that you have done that work. And the most important thing is you should not copy somebody else's work. I've seen, I do share my sample exam application, and some people ask me to review. Many people, what they do, copy and paste, just replacing the name of the program and submit to the PMI. They feel that they did the job, but what happened in this process? PMI is seeing the same code, same application again, similar application. They start rejecting it. So it's actually adding negativity towards you, and then you have to add more time to that. So please avoid any copy pasting. Yes, you can see some language, some pattern, but not look at do copy paste, which is very not good for you. And just to talk about how do you feel, how do you know whether you're ready for the exam? And we have been talking about this since when we started. So doing the mock exam will tell you, how ready you are. But just make sure, don't take these results as a defining factor. I've seen many people, even they didn't score enough in the mock exam, and they go out and do excellent in the exam. They pass exam and they do very good. And the same way, other way around, some people have done really well in the mock exam, but when they go to the exam, they didn't perform as well as they were expecting. So yes, do use the mock exam just to find out the gaps and to fill up your gaps, and but never ever take this question bank as a defining factor for you. Especially some exam like Ginger's exam is on the harder side, and when you do first attempt, you may not going to get, you are very unlikely to see that you get 60% 70%. Most of the people range between 35 to 50%. So don't take this as a negative for you. Rather, learn from that. As I said, this is your shock treatment, and okay, find the gaps and fill up the, what exactly you have to do, and you have to study the SPM in more and more detail. Okay. My strict advice is don't just rely on the free content. There are a lot of available material available on the internet, but the problem with that is, you don't know the author, and some questions are very very easy, just like, what is program charter, what do you understand the risk and this, and so this can give you a false impression that you know everything, or that can change your thinking. So you should know who is the author of the book or questions, and is it reliable source or not. While good to have the free content, but please spend some money. People have done a lot of hard work, including me, so we do spend time to get the right material for you. So, and it's in the actually problem with the internet as well. It's very easy to share the question bank with anybody else. So yes, no, this is not right, but yeah, try to respect the copyright. That's what we talk about in the PMI. That's copyright and thing. Anyway, consistency in your score of mock exam. So it's very important to see the consistency. And the problem is not every exam is same. Everybody has done differently. So in Gender's exam, when you're ready, you should be scoring around 60, 65. Gene's exam, 70, 75. And my exam, if you have done my attended my program, then around 80, 85%. But generally, 75% should be enough. And there are other exams as well, so you can try them as well. But you should know what is your how do you know whether you're eligible, readiness for that or not. So that's my advice for you. And I just to I give me opportunity to talk about my upcoming programs. So there are a few programs coming up here in Sydney, and then Singapore, and then the US. You can check the time, Mexico. So if all goes well, I will be seeing you, Alka and Pam and Anu, sometime very soon in July. Let's hope for the best, and please let your friends know about it. Little marketing. And at the bottom, you can go to my website and you can figure out which program you like to attend. And if you're still struggling, please send me a message, and I will be happy to spend some time with you to talk about my program and how it is helping other people and how it will help you to achieve your goals in the shorter time. I do have other options for you if you can't attend the bootcamp, fast track mentoring program. At the moment, I'm not started fast track mentoring program for 4th edition. I'm working on my group mentoring program. This helped me to collect the recordings, so which I will be using in my fast track mentoring program. So fast track will come somewhere mid and end of June or something. But if you are interested to join this group program, I'm starting two programs in June, 2nd of June, so you can note the time. And yes, the fees is 1150, but if you contact me within 2 hours, next 2 hours, I do give a discount as well. So little bit marketing part. And yes, I do allow people to talk to me. You're free to call me, but sometimes if I'm busy, I'm not able to take a call. But this here, you can book a time, 15-minute time with me, 15 minutes or half an hour. And that will be good actually, that you have booked, and you will get invite from me and I will call you, so we can have dedicated time. So with this, I'd like to thank Anu, Pam and Alka for considering me as your mentor and taken my advice, made me feel proud, and of course you are proud as well. So this is really experience working with you. So thank you very much and stay connected. And any last word from you?
No, thank you, Dharam.
No,
Appreciate it.
thank you very much. It was good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other question you have, guys? If you like to put the last minute question. No, we have seen all the questions here. That there are 2 questions. We have talked about that. So thank you once again for taking time to join this program. And yeah, wait for the next program coming soon. Bye
Thank
now.
you. Bye-bye.